fixed. And it's always a case of fixing things up and everything. This is where the city council meets. They're the legislative body. They make the laws. They appropriate the money, and I'm the one who spends the money. I'm the CEO. Well, more or less. I mean, I'm the one who's supposed to do everything they tell me to do. I'm supposed to enforce the law. I'm the chief executive officer, or rather the boss. And so therefore I stay pretty busy trying to administer the city and make sure it runs properly. And of course you went down to the courtroom downstairs? Okay, yeah, that's where the judge comes, Judge Grimm. He's the city judge. And he's busy, of course, always making sure the ne'er-do-wells or the bad guys get their just reserves. Or the not guilty ones get not guilty. So those are the three branches, essentially. The administrative, me, executive, judiciary downstairs, legislatives up here, just to use their terminology. Normally this would be my press conference time at 2 o'clock, actually. So there's probably somebody tuning in right now thinking they're going to get a press conference. Instead they've got you guys, So it's a surprise here. Yeah, there they are, right there.
They did bring questions, though, so it's like a press conference.
It's like a press conference, yeah. That's true, too. You can be like all reporters. How's that sound?
Yes, well, we reporters.
Okay. Maybe I should throw in my regular press conference bullets instead. So, there are two classes here or one class? Two classes, okay. Okay, well, let's start with some questions then. Who wants to go first? Everybody, okay. How about you in front right here?
Okay. Is it a hard job to be the mayor?
Yes and no. And I say yes and no because there's hard times to it and there's easy times. I mean, the fun times, of course, is sitting around and talking to you guys. Other times, of course, I have a lot of experts in the city, so I don't have to be an expert in everything. So that makes it easy. On the same time, sometimes I have to make hard judgment calls saying, we've got to do this, and some people don't like it. Realize I wouldn't be reelected if more than 50% of the people don't like what I'm doing, So I always have to, please at least half the people plus one. But the idea is to work it out, so you're having a good time, aren't you there? But really the whole thing is the hard part is actually representing everybody, seeing everybody's point of view, and making sure everybody, it works for everybody as best possible. Go ahead, you.
What is your favorite law you made with city council?
My favorite law? Yeah. Well, they make the law, but I can suggest some. Let's see. Some of the things I like that I've done is the bike lanes. I've been working on those. And really, that's more like an administrative thing, but the idea is to try getting as many bike lanes and sidewalks. We've been doing that Safe Routes to School. You guys got a new stairway in the back of your school right there. That's a grant that actually lets us get some money to build stairways and sidewalks and things like that. How many of you guys use those stairs? Have you used them? Okay, good. Okay, next question. How about you right there? You got a question? No, you don't have a question. Oh, you had your hand up. So, okay, how about you right there? Yes, you.
What would you do if someone broke the new law already?
If somebody broke a law already, probably we'd send the police after them. In theory, the police are the ones who enforce it. They're under my jurisdiction, but they're the experts. They're the ones patrolling. They're the ones that first would see somebody breaking a law. We get complaints about somebody breaking a law, so we have to go investigate. Every once in a while, I get a letter from somebody saying, "Are you aware this is a problem?" And I give it to the police and say, "Can you check this out? Investigate it." That's where the detectives come in. How about you right there?
We saw every
What laws are you working on right now?
Well, right now we're still thinking about trying to how to work around that the hydrofracking, the oil, gas, shale stuff. That's an issue. We really don't have control over that. So that's part of the problem, how to get that right. We're still working a little bit on the zoning code. Zoning code tells you where you can build things. In other words, residential areas versus business areas. You don't really want a noisy business next to somebody's home. But some of the zoning laws are fairly old and they don't fit the present day 21st century. So we're working a little bit on that. Let's see, other things that are in there, a lot of appropriation of money for the building of roads. We're going to be doing a lot of road work this year, this summer. We always do it during summer when the school's out because we have 20,000 less people running around on the street. You probably notice Oxbow is closed right now. That's on Richland Avenue, that bridge over there. We're tearing it down right now. That was built in 1933, so it's kind of old. we're appropriating about $375,000 for the roads. We're going to do some money for Columbus Road over there. Let's see, what other things? We're basically working on a lot of projects, infrastructure projects, and that's really what we'd have to do is maintain the infrastructure. You know, the water plant, make sure the water works when you turn on the faucet. Everybody's having fun waving, huh? Okay, how about you right there?
Why did you want to be mayor?
Why did I want to be mayor? Well, I thought I could really help out. I still think I can. Sometimes I wonder from day to day. I'm really keeping you amused back there, aren't I?
And my second question is, how many people did you run against?
How many people did I run against? The last time I ran against one person, Randy Morris, Republican. Previous to that, I ran against an independent. I'm on my second term, so a year and a half ago, I got elected again. That was one person running. The previous one, I think Ed Baum was an independent at the time. So usually it's from a party, Republican or Democratic Party. Sometimes an independent comes up. Mostly people running for mayor usually come out of city council or have had experience on city council because they know how the government process is. So that's kind of a mix on it. Why I ran is originally I thought that there were things that needed to be done, and I was approached by a lot of people who said you should run, and I really was reluctant to do it, mostly because I had a job at the university and I was working part time as a city council. City council is a part time job; it's not a full time job. It's essentially a job that you will take as much as you give at that point. Okay, how about you?
Is it fun to be mayor or is it hard?
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, if it was really a lot of fun, I'd have to pay admission. I got you to laugh again there. If it was really hard, I wouldn't want to do it. But it's a mix. I mean, day to day, there's different things. You know, some days I have to do some hard decisions, a lot of homework. Other days, it's like I have fun like this. This is fun. You know.
Also,
Why are they taking pictures of my feet there? What? Somebody's thinking, one of your cohorts are in there doing some kind of video there.
It's that one. Oh.
They're having way too much fun. How about you, question-wise?
My question was, do any other people help you than the city council?
Yes, lots of people help me. I mean, we have full-time, we have about 176 employees in the city. Probably almost twice as many of that as part-timers. When you think part-time, I'm thinking think of a lifeguard at the pool or something like that, or somebody cutting the grass and somebody coaching a game or something like that. So I have lots of help, lots of very expert help. I have engineers, I have people who know how to run a water system. Okay, how about you in green right there? Yes. Do I like being the mayor? Yes, I do. I do. That's yeah, I like being the mayor. How about you over there? Purple or pink? I guess that is. I don't know what color that is. What color is that?
Pink.
Okay, go ahead. You have a question?
What do you all do when you're mayor? Like, do you just what do you do?
I do everything from let's see. I do proclamations. Basically, I do letters of recognition. I sign contracts. Basically, I administer the different staff and departments. So if you look at it, I've got water, sewer, we've got streets, we've got police, fire. We have what's called lands and buildings, which fixes all our lands and buildings. Recreation, So I kind of coordinate those. I rely on their expertise if they're good at it. Other things I do marriages. Occasionally, somebody wants to get married, and the mayor is actually empowered to do a marriage. Let's see, what other things I do? Well, I do meetings, lots of meetings. Something like this. This could be a meeting. How about that?
This counts.
This counts, yes. You in red? Yes.
How many years have you been mayor?
I am on my 6th year. This is my second term. The terms are 4 years long. Why do I keep getting my feet here? Sometimes I am way too much fun over there. Essentially, each term is 4 years. This is my second term. I'm on my second year of my second term. So it'll be 5 years and 5 months since it's May. So that gives you an idea. You in black back there, yes.
How do you become a mayor?
Well, you have to be at least 18. You have to be a resident of the city. They call it a resident of the city. After that, you just get a petition. I think you need about 50 signatures, and then you have to run a campaign. So you could do that. Really, the whole point is that my expertise as a mayor has to do with the fact that I was elected. And this is part of democracy. Anybody can get elected. I mean, if you go to a board election, get a petition to be one, you have to wait till you're 18 though. Then you can actually, become one. Okay, the next round here. Go ahead. Yeah. Yes, they do. They vote for me. It would be in a general election. That's in November. If there's somebody in the same party running against me, it's a primary. Just yesterday we had a primary election for the at-large city council members. That's these people right here. Steve Patterson, Chris Nisey, Allahu Ghazni. Allahu Ghazni decided not to run again, so his term ends in December. And at that point, somebody else was going to run. So we had 6 contestants running yesterday for 3 seats. If my memory is correct, I think from the unofficial results, Steve Patterson and Chris Nisey were reelected. They are called the incumbents because they're in office already. Allahu's position, I believe it's Jennifer Cochran won. I think she lives on the east side. But we had about 3 or 4 people running against that. And again, it just takes a petition, going to board of election. You get a petition that a bunch of your fellow citizens sign and say, yes, you are a person who is actually qualified to run. And then you put it in, and then you have to do a few hoops to jump in terms of election stuff, but it's easy to do. You should think about it when you get to be 18. How about you right there?
What is your favorite part of being mayor?
My favorite part? Good meetings. Good meetings with good people, like this one. People who ask good questions, have good ideas, and it's a chance for people to share ideas, because a lot of times the best thing about it is that when you have time when somebody has a solution, somebody else has a problem, and you can get both of them together and say, hey, this person has an idea, this person has a solution, why don't you see if you can work it out? And that's the best thing to do, really. Go ahead, back there.
Is it hard to be a mayor?
Is it hard? Well, somebody asked that, but it can be. It can be. Some of the things that are hard is when you have to make hard decisions and decide something that some people won't like. And it always comes down to resources. We only have so much money. We only have so many people to do something. And all of a sudden it's like, well, we can't do this, but we have to do this. And somebody you can't do something for. Somebody says, I want a second skate park, or I want, somebody was asking me right earlier today. Actually, the Morrison Gordon School was here earlier today. And they were asking, can I put a bike lane on... Can I put a bike lane on Lorig Road? And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't, because Lorig Road is outside the city. So I can't even do that. Okay, how about you in blue back there with your hand up? Or are you just watching the crowds?
Eddie.
Yes, you.
What's it like being the mayor?
What's it like? Every day is different. And I have to wear a tie most of the time. How's that? Is a tie comfortable?
Yeah.
I've gotten used to it. Actually, I went to 10 years of Catholic school, so I had a tie for 10 years, starting with a bow tie. Then I did 26 years of trying to stay away from a tie.
So 36 years.
26 years. Well, 10 years with a tie, 26 without, and now I'm back in a tie.
So 36 total.
Yeah, there you go. Good math. Part of the thing when you work, I worked as a lab tech, and you really don't want one in there. Oh, it's your turn. Is it your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. More questions before they start moving the camera around again. I should wear better shoes, obviously.
I didn't like the shoes though.
Go ahead. You have 2 questions. Okay, everybody's.
What's your favorite part of being the mayor?
The favorite part? This is the favorite part. I'm on TV and I don't have a bunch of people yelling at me. You're just asking questions. And your second question is?
Why did you want to be the mayor?
Why? Because I could do some good stuff in the city. I started out as a city council member, and I thought I was doing great stuff there, and somebody else said, you could do better. Now, whether I want to keep going and be, my father, he wants me to try for a state rep, and then he wants to try for governor, and I said, no, this is good enough, Trying to convince your dad that you really don't want to jump up and be president of the United States and all in one fell swoop is kind of difficult. Go ahead.
What is the most funniest rule that someone suggested to you?
The funniest rule?
Yeah.
Wow. registering cats and leashing cats, I think was one of them, okay? In other words, I don't know how you put a cat on a leash and expect it to stay there. But, because we have dog licenses and we have the leash laws for the dogs. And somebody says, the cats are running all over the place. You ought to do something about the cats. And it's like, I don't know if you can do anything with cats, because cats don't really listen and they don't really take to having leashes on well. You know what I mean? So that was a pretty outstanding one right there. That was an outlier right there. Go ahead.
Well, do you know how really big is Athens?
The city is, in terms of population, is the 2010 census, which is the latest numbers I have that are accurate, are 23,800. We were hoping at the 10,000. Some people were thinking we were going to get to 25,000. If we get to 25,000, then we'd have to get 2 more city council members. But we have 23,008. That's the size and population. In terms of area, I think we're talking a little bit under 10 square miles. And I think if I talk to my public works director and street director, we're talking about 90 miles of road, streets. So that's what we have to maintain. And that doesn't include the unimproved ones, the alleyways that are platted. Are you making faces in the camera there? Okay. Okay, how about you right there?
What is it like to be a mayor?
What is it like? Well, some days are good, some days are bad, and it's a lot of work. I easily pull more than 40 hours or 50 hours a week. Mostly because, like for instance, Monday is city council night most of the time. So I'm in here at 8 o'clock, and their meetings start at 7:30 at night, and whenever they get done, I get done. So that could be an easy 12-hour to 13-hour day. Other days, like, let's see, tomorrow I've got a 8 o'clock meeting, and then I've got a 6 o'clock in the evening one, too. So I've got 2 meetings that are bracketed at least by a good 12 hours, 11 hours. So we'll see. And you have your hand, go ahead. You have a question?
Will you tell me what you did before you were mayor?
Oh, okay. What I did before I was mayor, I was my degree, I've got a bachelor's degree in chemistry, because I like chemistry. I always liked science. I went to actually Marietta College, which is 50 miles to the east of here. I don't know, does everybody know where Marietta is? But essentially, I was working in the university in molecular biology. So really I was doing science, a lot of science. And that was fun too, because science is a little bit different than this type of stuff. This is administration. This is like you think of hardware and software. This is more like software because it's really people science rather than the other science. In science, you always have one variable, so you change one variable at a time if you're doing good science. In this case, there's too many variables, but you get used to it. Are they busy moving the election stuff? Okay. I say they just moved all the election stuff out because yesterday was an election. And it was a primary, and this is the first primary they've had during a semester. The university had quarters, so all 20,000 students, college students, are not here. So the voting was real light. You back there?
Voted to be the mayor?
Yes, I was voted in, yes. And I voted for myself, too. I voted, and I forget the percentage, maybe 55%. I forget what the percentage of voting was for me. It's a majority. It's a majority of everybody who votes here. How many of you live in the city? Okay, so your parents voted. When you get to be 18, you'll vote. You register to vote, study the issues, and then vote. It's very easy, and it's your way of participating. You have another question, it sounds like, or you just raising your hand?
Well, I wonder what Athens looked like when it was first founded.
Probably a lot of woods, I suspect. Actually, there are books written about that. I think there's one called Athens, the Village Years. I think that's by either Marge Stone or a guy by the name of Daniels. There's about 3 or 4 books on the history of Athens. And it started out from the people who actually were in Marietta. They started Marietta, and it was Putnam and Sisla, and I forget that. There were about 20 people that decided to come over here and check it out and set up a little town here. The rumor was that they were supposed to set up in the plains, and they got mistaken and they ended up here, but I don't know if that's true or not. And it was always actually slated to be an education city. In fact, the way it was charted is that 2 of the townships were actually owned by Ohio University. I think the town, Alexander Township and Athens Township. They used to own all the land there. They used to actually rent the land out to everybody, but then they decided that they needed the money and they sold the land. So as a result, they were granted a charter to do this as a state institution. I'm not the best expert on the history of Athens, but the fact is we've always been designated as a university town. And therefore education is very important, as you know, because you're in school, right? Okay, other questions? You have a question or you're just waving at the camera? Okay. Other questions?
Tilly, maybe you can have our last question. We're going to need to wrap it up and head on back.
Oh yeah, you've got to be back when? Soon?
We need to be back by 3 and we're walking.
Okay, yeah, this is about almost 2:30. Last question. Do you have a chance?
I was going to say very important, but someone else can.
Go ahead and ask.
Yeah, ask a question. Go for
Ask
it.
it.
Where did you get the cameras and the supplies to operate the cameras?
That's a good question. I don't know where Scott buys his cameras, to tell you the truth. We used to have handheld cameras, but we've gone more and more to electronic cameras. We have lots of them these days. Every time we look, there seem to be more. Part of the thing is just is to make it so people can see it on TV, because this is going broadcast right now. The money comes from actually part of the Time Warner franchise. Time Warner Cable actually gives us a certain amount of money to operate in the city. I forget what that dollar is, but that's how we finance. And they also give us channels, what they call PEG channels, which is Public Education and Government channels. This is the government channel. The public one, I think, is Channel 9, where anybody can rent a camera and do what they want with it. More or less, I mean, you know. There's some pretty exotic stuff on, and there's some boring stuff too. And the education channel, I think, is actually what Ohio University uses. They have access to that. So it's an arrangement that most cable companies have to deal with within cities, just so they have the rights to use our right-of-way. A right-of-way, of course, is a street. Okay, one more question. You and Orange, right back there.
How is your life as a mayor?
How is my life as a mayor? Hectic, very hectic. And also I have to be a role model. I can't jaywalk. I can't throw litter on the ground because somebody's going to say, I saw you jaywalking yesterday across the street. And they'll say, and so I have to be very good at what I do. And I have to be a role model all the time. Okay? Are we done? No? She's shaking her head no. Thank you.
All right, so Mayor, thank you so much.